From the world of entertainment, it's a filmed version of the popular musical Hamilton, shot back in 2016, now streaming on Disney+, one of several movies coming to video on demand and streaming services this week. For more, let's bring in film critic and host of Pop Life on CTV, Richard Crouse, with his take on Hamilton the movie.
Hi, Todd. How are you?
I'm good, and happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday to you. I'm happy to report that Hamilton, the musical, now on Disney Plus, is really good. What they've done here is taken the original cast. So this is the Tony Award-winning cast. This is the cast that lived really at the very center of popular culture when this show opened at the Richard Rodgers Theater on Broadway and became this phenomenon, this thing that finally got young people going back to the theater, that revitalized what a Broadway musical could be. This is a filmed version of that doesn't get in its own way. And by that, I mean, there's no really flashy camera work. They haven't tried to enhance the cinematic experience. They're simply presenting a really beautifully done, handsome document of that show. And so as a result, you get a little better than front row seats to see a show that certainly people, when it was playing on Broadway, now sadly closed for the time being, but people were paying, upwards of $2,000 for a ticket for this, and you get a chance to see why when you see the show.
How many stars?
I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Wow, okay. Nice. Okay, what about this biographical drama by the name of Shirley, which stars Elizabeth Moss?
This is, I would say, a semi-fictional biography of Shirley Jackson, who was a well-known horror writer. She had come off a couple of very successful novels and a story called The Lottery, which was published in the New Yorker and caused a great deal of controversy when it came out. At the point that we meet her, she is trying to figure out her next novel, and she's got some writer's block and some other personal issues. Her husband is cheating on her. There's a lot going on in her life. And then one day, her husband comes home and says, "Hey, look, I've got 2 people that are going to be living with us for a little while. They are a PhD student and his wife." And as these 2 couples try and navigate around in the same house, Shirley becomes kind of psychologically involved with the wife of the young couple that move in and starts to base the main character in her new horror novel on this woman. So it's a psychological drama that's a bit of a slow burn. It takes a little while to get where it's going, but Elizabeth Moss just goes from strength to strength to strength. I didn't think that she would be able to be any greater than she was on Mad Men. And then Handmaid's Tale comes along, and now Shirley comes along to prove that really she can do almost anything. So she is great in a movie that could use, from my mind, a little tightening up. So I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars.
And finally, American Woman.
This is from, speaking of Mad Men, from one of the producers and writers on Mad Men, Sunny Chellis. It's her first feature film, and it tells, again, a kind of fictionalized version of a true story. So it is based on the story of Patty Hearst, who was kidnapped in 1974 by the Sudanese Liberation Army, and then a lot of footage was released of her robbing banks, as though she was very much on side with this organization. So what this movie does is fictionalize that story and wonders, was she going along with the terrorists who kidnapped her simply for survival, or was she actually indoctrinated into their causes? And again, this is wordy. There's not a lot of action that goes on here, but really fascinating performances, and it really takes the time to get under the skin of these characters. So I gave American Woman 3 out of 5 stars.
Always good to see you, Richard, and thanks for taking the time today.